Guys, it's Miss Clark. I'm here for your Monday reading lesson. And our reading lesson today is called I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll. Okay, so here's a cover photo. All right, so our I can statement is I can answer questions to show my understanding of a story. So some of our vocabulary, we have familiar, appear, substitute, complain, quivered, inspection, disappoint, courage, impressive, admit, menacing, reject, challenging, ominous, and unfurled. Okay, so those will be taught throughout the story. So now we're going to read the story and discuss vocabulary in context while reading. So we're also going to talk about the author's word choice, the different characters, and their different voices. Okay, so let's look at our story right here. So it's on Epic. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm just going to read it myself. It's easier for me that way. So it's called I Need My Monster. Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? So I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived. The substitute means taking over. Good evening, said a low and breathy voice. My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening. Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever scared a kid before? Well, no, but I have read all the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? I asked. No, but I have an overbite and I'm a mouth breather. Listen. Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. Picky, Herbert complained. As you wish, I'll go. There was some more creaking, and Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. Good evening, he said in a high, silky voice, so like smooth. My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out an arm for inspection. I crouched on the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horrible, shaggy arm with sharp, ragged nails. Ragged is uneven. Instead, I was surprised to see sleek brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, I asked, but is that nail polish on your claws? Yes, it is, Ralph replied. I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed. I could tell that this was not going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws. Like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching. I knew Ralph was gone. A minute later, A third voice from under the bed rasped, "Check out these claws, kid." I gathered my courage and peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged, dark, and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. "Could you stick out your tail?" I whispered. "Sure, but don't get scared." So I've noticed something about these voices. All the voices of the monsters are different, aren't they? I peeked through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. That's when I noticed the bow. "Are you a girl monster?" "Of course I am," she snapped. "I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that?" Yeah, I do," I admitted. "I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that." "Well, aren't you a picky one?" she sniffed, and then she was gone.
Boy.
Was I being too picky? No. I knew that my monster needed to be well clawed and menacing. Menacing means like threatening, like scary. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. You can see the illustration right here is glow in the dark, a bunch of claws and things like that. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbery. A fourth monster was under my bed. "Hey, the name's Mac." One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. "Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail?" I leaned over to see. "No, my tail is stumpy," Max slurped, "but I do have an unusually long tongue." "Why would I be afraid of a long tongue?" I asked. "Oh, I don't know," he said, trying to sound terrifying. "You never know when I might lick you." I fell back on the bed laughing. There's the photo or picture. "Well, if you're not even going to try to work with me," Mac whined. I held in my giggles. "I really don't think you should send me away," he warned. "Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night." "I did not reject 5 monsters tonight," I interrupted. "My regular monster went fishing." "Fishing, eh? Maybe he just left because you're so picky." "Fine, I'm out of here, but I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you." How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking, with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight," I said. "Sorry I'm late, kid." Whew, it was Gabe. "I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't," he explained. "Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You ever are challenging, my friend. You're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes." "Ah, toes, a delicious snack." The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. "Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool." I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his long, spiky tail. He was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered. So, unfurled means like unrolled. See, as you can see, there's a curl in his tail. "So, you had some substitute monsters tonight," Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. "Were you scared?" Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. "No other monster can scare me like you," I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. "Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other," he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. "Now, if you could please stick out your foot," he said. "I'd like to nibble your pinky." I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight. You can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Ate that up. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered. I'd be asleep in no time. And that's the end. So we've got a little quiz you can do if you find this on Epic. Remember, this book is called I Need My Monster. So I'm going to finish the book. All right. So I'll write it there. And now we talked about the vocabulary words and, why do you think the author chose to use the words like, slobber and, shivered and things like that? Those words. Certainly fun, aren't they? So here are some questions that you can use when you're talking at home. So how did the author begin the story to engage the reader? So how did she start the story to engage the reader or get them hooked? Let's see. How did Gabe take care of Ethan by leaving a note for him? I hadn't thought about that. Why did Ethan need a monster under his bed? I think it was probably because it was comforting. So 4 substitute monsters tried out for the job of monster under Ethan's bed. Why didn't Herbert, Ralph, Cynthia, or Matt get the job? I'm going to talk about that with whoever's with you. All right, and so after that, you're going to discuss with someone at home. You're going to do the 5-finger retell for this story. Characters, setting, problem, events, beginning, middle, and end, and solution. So go ahead and talk about that, and you can write it down if you want to. And that'll be all for the lesson. Now, actually, I do have one more thing that I thought you might like. You can answer this question in your notebook. It's totally optional if you have time. If you don't have time, don't worry about it. So the question is, have you ever felt like Gabe? Why or why not? Have you ever felt like you needed a monster under your bed, or you felt like you couldn't sleep? Have you ever felt like him before? Okay, so go ahead and write that down if you have time. And don't forget to also write about your 5-finger retell today for the story. So I hope you guys like this story. I like it. I love the monster series that they have on Epic. So if you have time, you need to go and check them out. So I will see you guys again next week in the next video. Bye. Oh, and also one more thing before I hang up. Make sure that you're watching the videos to hear the secret code words that we give out. I know that in my class, if you listen to the videos and you give me the code word, then you get a cookie from the cafeteria. I don't know about other teachers, but I would check with your teacher and see what kind of reward you get for giving the code word. Okay, so it's going to be in random videos, so you need to be watching them to see which one it is. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.